This is the 2BizChicks podcast. Each week, the hosts, successful CEOs Linda Rawson and Tamara Tran, entertain you with real-life stories that are guaranteed to empower, enrich, and enlighten. The 2BizChicks are both entrepreneurs, authors, and public speakers with many diverse life experiences that bring a powerful message to each episode.
Hello. We're so excited today. We're interviewing Jenn Foster of Elite Online Publishing. Welcome, Jenn.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. And Tammy Tran's here as well.
Hi there.
So Jenn, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I've been in the publishing industry and have been publishing and writing books for the last 4.5 years. My company currently, Elite Online Publishing, has been in business for 2 years, and we love helping people to write and publish their books online. We're technically a hybrid independent publisher, so we're not your traditional publisher. We do independent publishing. We help you self-publish your book, but we like to have a marketing roadmap with that to help you so that you have a purpose for your book. So we are usually going with authors that are nonfiction, that have a business book, and help them to build their business and brand and use their book as a tool to springboard their business forward.
Excellent. So exactly how did you get started as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It was about 12 years ago I started out with my own web design and marketing company. I needed a website for a retail business that I owned. And so I made that website, and then a bunch of other people wanted websites, so I made a few more websites. And then I thought websites were cool, but if nobody could find them, I didn't think that was cool. So I learned everything I could about marketing online, so SEO, which is search engine optimization. And I took a lot of courses and a lot of weekend conferences to learn all the marketing I could. I specialized in video marketing, and that's what I wrote some of my first books about. So it was actually 2013. I was asked to be a part of a book. Dan Kennedy's a big marketing guru, and he asked if I would be a part of his book, a chapter in one of his books. And so I wrote a chapter all about marketing and my expertise, which was the video marketing and local marketing. And it just went crazy from there. After I wrote that first book, I just was addicted and kept writing more.
I think that's fantastic. I'm kind of curious, as far as your marketing interest goes, is it just something that you realized you needed and so you decided to research and just jump into it? Or have you always kind of been interested in marketing from maybe a different perspective?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always had an entrepreneur mindset. I was fortunate to grow up with parents that own their own business. My grandfather started his own business. And so I've always had kind of an entrepreneurial type mindset. And luckily for me, my parents, the business they were in had Book of the Month Club. So I was reading great books like by Napoleon Hill and Dale Carnegie and Zig Ziglar and all those people I would hear speak on stages, and Les Brown. And so I grew up with that. And so I knew I always wanted to own my own business. And so when I got married and we owned this retail business, I always had that, I can do it attitude, oh, we don't need to hire a marketing person. I'll just learn how, So, but I've always been very computer. I've always loved computers and been really into tech. And so it was cool that I could build that website. And then I wanted to make sure people could find the website. So I learned everything I could about, the video marketing, local marketing, Google Maps, making sure you have the right keywords and titles and stuff on your website. And then, of course, doing that for other businesses and going and handing out my business card, going to networking groups and doing all the things that I needed to build up that marketing business.
Boy, that's really impressive. Really impressive. That's an awesome market to be in, and publishing as well.
Yeah, I think the online marketing space is a little bit saturated. There's a lot of people who do it. I would try and differentiate myself a little because I was divorced, and so I had I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and so I just knew that if I had this amount of clients with this amount of income, I was good. So I never wanted to be that big box SEO.com or some big company that had cubicles and everyone was a number. I just wanted the hands-on approach. All my clients knew they had that person that would come to them once a month and help them with their marketing and answer all their questions and do it for them. Do the social media, do the content, do the blogs, do the videos. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years. And the last 2 years, we've been doing book publishing for other people. And that is awesome because marketing a business is the same as marketing a book or a person. So it's the same online marketing. It's just you're targeting a different audience, or you're targeting a different, you're marketing a different thing. So,
boy, that's fantastic. Very interesting.
Do you have some advice for other women entrepreneurs, how they get started, how they find the resources they need, and what motivated you to overcome, any discrimination or gender issues?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, I would say, like right now that's helping me, and I would say it helped me in the beginning too, is reading or listening to books or podcasts. So, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you've already taken a really big leap into learning and knowing that you can learn something new every day. And, I love Audible because I can listen while I work out or in the car driving kids around, or while I'm, I can listen to a book while I'm editing something, if I'm editing someone's book, or, there's always, I can always be doing two things at once. And I guess that's just that, some of us women were really good at that. So I like listening to books or just reading. Growing up in that as a teenager with those great books to read, or even in college with those great books to read, I think has changed my mindset to have that entrepreneurial mindset, and knowing that I have the belief that I can succeed and reach the goals that I have.
I was just wondering, so you've talked a lot about kind of what's driven you and kind of really why you're passionate about what you've done. Have you run into some great people along the way that have helped you to crystallize your plans, accomplish even greater things?
Of course, yeah. So I have a business partner I met at a marketing conference. And she and I, she's motivated me for sure. And us together, she's a single mom too. So we, put our heads together and have built this company up and are having lots of fun helping other people become bestsellers and branding them and helping them with their marketing roadmap and getting them to the #1 bestseller status. But I think besides my business partner, I've been to a couple other conferences the last couple years where there's been amazing speakers. I also went to a Tony Robbins conference, and that was really exciting and motivational.
Yes, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you find that you manage or balance your life with work and personal?
It's hard sometimes, and especially, being the marketing person that I am and social media that I am, everyone always asks, well, how do you differentiate yourself from your business on all the different social media platforms? And it is kind of hard. You just have to learn to juggle, I guess. And some days are going to be good days and some days are going to be bad days. And I think one thing we all have to remember is that we're never going to be perfect and that we're always learning. And so sometimes good is good enough. And that's one of the hardest things to accept sometimes, especially if you're a perfectionist. And so it is kind of hard to juggle sometimes, but I think a lot of the books I read, like I just read or I listened to The One by Keller Williams, or it's a Keller Williams book. I'm trying to think the exact name of the author, but that The One Thing, or The One, I think it's called The One Thing. It talks about time blocking and making sure, you have like things organized. And that's something where I tried to do, but I'm more of a, multitasker, do lots of things at once. But that's how I get things done. But definitely I separate, like I only work a certain amount of hours. I only have, I have kids a certain amount of hours. They're at school most of the day. But then when they're home, I like to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's admirable. That's so hard.
Yeah.
Yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Tammy and I talked about on our last podcast was time savers.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually introduced me to the concept of calling the grocery store with your list and going and pick up your groceries.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that that saves you time that you invest in yourself?
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who do the same thing, or they'll do the online ordering and just go pick it up. And that's something I haven't tried yet. I have done the Sam's Club Scan and Go, which is kind of fun. That you don't have to check out in the line. You just scan it as you go with your phone, and then you pay on your phone and you leave the door. You leave. So it's kind of fun. That's been a time saver. But I would say, I think the thing that I do for myself, I get a massage. I pamper myself like at least once a month. Do something like that for myself. Other time savers is just when I'm driving to appointments, to and from appointments, I'll try and listen to a book or Audible. That's a time saver for me because I'm doing something else that is helping me to educate me. But I don't really have any other time savers. I really do need to implement the grocery store one. I guess I would say in the last 2 months, we've hired a couple of interns. I have an executive assistant, and then I have an intern. And I think that has helped save a lot of time. So I've offloaded a bunch of work that I didn't really need to do that someone else could do. And that's helped a lot.
That's fantastic. You mentioned celebrating your victories, kind of just how much is enough in terms of success. I think for women, and I don't know if it's just women, but it seems like people who are really driven, you get to your goal and then you think, well, I met it, so now I'm gonna raise it. So what do you do to reward yourself? I mean, you mentioned getting a massage.
Mm-hmm.
Just to acknowledge all of the things that you have accomplished.
Yeah. My business partner and I like to do, 2 or 3 conferences a year. So that's kind of a reward for us. So like the Tony Robbins was kind of a reward for me. It was a time to be, away for 4 days without kids and just focus on me. So that was a rewarding experience, as well as I felt like I was getting a reward for something that I did. Going on my retreat's always a reward. So whenever we do the book writing retreat, that feels like a reward.
Because it's in Costa Rica, right?
Because it's on the beach and there's lots of sand and sun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, good. I think we're, getting ready to wrap up. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you have going on right now and what you'd like our listeners to find out about you.
Okay. Yeah. So right now, we're mostly working on getting authors #1 on Amazon. And so if you're ever thought about writing a book, or if you've written a book and you don't know how to publish it or where to publish it or have any direction on marketing, then go ahead and reach out to us. You can find us at eliteonlinepublishing.com, or you can check out the book writing retreats at bookwritingretreats.com. And then if you do, I do encourage everyone to start writing. One of the things that we do, which is a lot of fun, is we have journals on Amazon that you can write in. And so we have a lot of blank journals. We have a lot of blank line journals. And we have a few happy journals and prayer journals, which helps you to get motivated and write down your thoughts and your blessings, and also what you're happy about, what you're grateful for. So check those out. You can type in Elite Journals on Amazon and you'll find those. So I just encourage you to start writing, and then you can get those thoughts down on paper, which then will turn into something you might want to publish someday.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you so much for being on our podcast. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to our next one.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a fun day.
You too.